I haven't been as active on this channel as I have been for some time, and I thought it'd be fair to address this. To be frankly honest, I have left cubing for a while. Sure, I still pick up a cube occasionally when I have time, and I have even been to some competitions sporadically, but I've been practicing way less than before. This is because I have been extremely busy recently, and unfortunately, I will still likely not upload as frequently as I have before. However, I still will be making videos at a slower rate, so please stay around even if I haven't released a video in a while. But recently, I had a bit of time to get back into cubing, and I sat down for a few nice long sessions. For a bit of context, I used to average mid to high 11s, and from a few months of inactivity, I was completely expecting to be a lot slower than I was before, or at least the same speed. But to my surprise, this was not true. As I started settling in, I noticed that my average started dropping from high 11s to low 11s, and then to even mid 10s. In fact, I even started getting sub 10 AO5s somewhat commonly, and even some low 9 AO5s and even sub 10 AO12s. To say the least, I was confused. I used to cube nearly every day, doing solves, learning, practicing, and yet somehow I was bottlenecked at a 11-second average. But now, somehow by taking a break for a few months, I was able to bring my average down an entire second, which is a pretty huge amount for 11 seconds. Today, I want to give my insight as to how this likely happened and what you can do to improve your times based on this experience. First, let's talk about habits. Whether or not you notice it, by cubing a lot, you develop various habits. Most of them are good. For example, finger tricks are a common habit that you likely have, and people have various ways they execute algorithms depending on how you practice. Look ahead is another common habit which takes a lot of time to build. However, some habits can also be negative. These are even less commonly acknowledged. For example, a common bad habit is using a worse algorithm instinctively while you know a better algorithm for a specific case. The most problematic one, I think the one that a lot of people have, is rushing during F2L. Though it may seem beneficial to spam TPS during F2L, you are hurting your own look ahead, especially when you do a less optimal pair than you should have because you were rushing. When you leave queuing for a while, some of these habits just naturally tend to fall apart, regardless of whether they are good or bad. However, because those good habits took so long to form and typically involves a lot of practice and intentional work to develop, they tend to redevelop a lot faster than bad habits. And with bad habits, it's a lot easier to avoid redeveloping them than intentionally breaking them, so they tend not to come back. Essentially, this allows you to keep your good habits while breaking some bad ones, and overall reducing your times. There's also a bit more of a subconscious part to this. Back when I was constantly speed cubing, it was a huge part of my life. Every day I would try really hard to improve, but I never could. But when you take a break from something, your brain subconsciously processes information you have learned in a way that it may not have been able to when you're actively trying to apply it. This is especially important for things like muscle memory used in algorithm memorization, but also in things like look ahead and other concepts. This could also improve your times. But now let's talk about how you can use this knowledge to improve your own times. I'm definitely not telling you to quit cubing or even take a long break from it just for the sake of potentially getting faster. But if anything, there are two major takeaways. First of all is to be aware of everything that you do in cubing to identify those good habits and bad habits. The first step in breaking the bad habits and keeping the good ones is recognizing them. Do some slower solves or just record your fast solves to go back and analyze them. See what you do well and keep on doing it. Then see what you do badly and try to stop doing it in your future solves. Having a smart cube can also be helpful in this process, though it is by no means necessary. It may be hard to break habits intentionally, but try to really be focused on that one thing during all of your solves. The other takeaway is to know when to take small breaks. As much as it may be fun to cube for hours on end, and I personally enjoy it a lot, if you're truly trying to improve, it may help to step back and do something else for a few hours or even a few days to let your brain really process what you are trying to learn. With that, that's about it for today's video. Hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys soon in future videos. Peace.